All you can count on is yourself, little girl, little lady. I see the sparkle in your eyes. I can't wait to see you fly, little lady. Life is but a dream right now.
Peace and blessings, power people. This is the Reverend High Priestess, Thema, Azize, Serwa. I am the founder of the womb Sauna and our movement to let the womb be heard all throughout the world. And I'm always grateful when I can snag your listening ears for a moment to drop some inspiration. It's always my intention that the information and the pieces of my life story that I share with you activate something in you that takes you higher. Because Lord knows, if you're still on earth, which is the classroom, there are still things for you to master within yourself and learn. And that takes you higher. So anyway, I want to talk about the power of a woman's unconditional love. I want to talk about the power of a woman's unconditional love. I teach everywhere I go that love is the most potent medicine that we have on the planet. And when we let it flow freely, unapologetically, without shame, without fear, it can become a powerful tool for transformation and for healing. And I've had a lot of conversations with my Baba. He's about to be 80 years old, very wise elder. And him and I have talked about what we see with the modern woman and the modern man and the dynamic between the two. He's shared his perspective of brothers not stepping to it, that they've been emasculated by their mothers. They've been over accommodated, if you will. And so that has left a lot of women having to, for example, raise their children on their own, having to over accommodate for a lack of masculine energy. We talked about how there is an income gap between particularly Black women and Black men. And when you get into other ethnicities, you can see a gap sometimes between, for example, white women and white men. But it's a strange dynamic that in some of the Black communities you'll find Black women are more easily able to make more money than Black men, for example. Now, let me preface this conversation by saying that I always hold a broad vision of things. I don't view things as black and white. I do see the shades of gray. So at the end of the day, no matter what's going on around you, what's going on inside of you is what's most important. And I want to have a conversation with the sisters in particularly about what's going on inside of you that you would choose a mate that would not be able to meet your deep emotional needs. And this conversation is not about judgment. It's not about fault finding. I don't live in a value system of what's right and wrong. My value system is that everything that we experience serves as well, if that is our truth. There are no victims here. I want you to wake up and realize what you're doing and why you're doing it. What is it that happens that when you first meet that brother, he is everything to you? And then after about a few months and his weaknesses and his flaws begin to show, you then begin to desire him to serve your emotional voids. Here's the truth. You cannot see a relationship. When you walk in a room, you can't point it out. A relationship is an idea. It is something that represents two individual people coming together and relating to each other a certain way. They express certain behaviors based on how they feel about each other. I've done a review on this book on our YouTube channel called Getting the Love You Want by Harville Hendrix. Again, if it's not in your library, you are missing a golden opportunity to evolve in how you handle matters of your heart. In his book, he says, every single human being, male or female, will choose a mate at a subconscious level that they believe can be a surrogate parent to their childhood wounds. You don't do this consciously, you do it unconsciously. Because there's something in you that can learn best how to heal from those wounds by being face to face with someone like your mother, like your father, or like the person who was instrumental in raising you. You resist it by responding with judgment, ego. Ego says, I'm too good for this. Ego says, I shouldn't have to deal with this. This is ridiculous. You a grown man. You should know how to do this. There's certain things I shouldn't have to tell you. See, all of that energy is ego. And ego robs you, not the other person, of the opportunity to see your capacity to outgrow some things. So, I had to have a real honest conversation with myself one day. I took a look at my relationship cycles and I realized that I was experiencing the same emotional concerns, but the men kept changing. I was the common denominator. I had to own that and say, why are you continuing to create the same experience for yourself? And then when I looked at my bloodline and began to have conversations with my mom and my family about their love lives, I also realized that part of my ancestral healing work was to create a new legacy around matters of the heart. So anyway, sisters, I'm calling you higher. You are probably experiencing some toxic relationships because there's toxicity within you. And if that brother is doing his job correctly, he's being a good mirror and reflecting to you through his behavior where you are still wounded. And that's what he's supposed to do. It's not his job to nurse and lick and heal your wounds. And that's the greatest misconception we have in relationships. It is not your partner's job to make you feel good and make you happy. It is not their job to heal you. That's your job. That's your work. And relationships go horrible when each person is taking all of their mess to the other person saying, can you fix this for me, please? Instead of having an opportunity to say to each other, I own my shit. And I recognize that I'm still wounded in some ways. And it's going to affect you. Sometimes my communication may come off aggressive. But here's my plan. Here's my plan. This is how I plan to address this. If you want to walk this journey with me, ashe. If it's not something you want to journey with me on, ashe to that too. But I am committed to doing my work and evolving to become the kind of lover I want to be. The goal, the evolution that we need to see on this planet right now is more people truly understanding and walking in unconditional love. Unconditional love is the type of love that, and I know this will scare some of my sisters, gets rid of those non-negotiables. That stuff that says, if he does that one thing, it's a wrap, I'm out of here. I thank God that I'm not loved like that by spirit, because there's a lot of stuff that I've done that spirit could have abandoned me on. Doesn't mean you don't walk in wisdom, doesn't mean you just take anything that's shown up. But it does mean that when you make decisions to shift, your decisions are not based on the other person, they're based on yourself. And so that is a process that has to be learned. And this is why I do coaching with a lot of my clients who come to me initially for the womb, sauna, vaginal steam experience. But when they get on the pot, we have to start healing heart issues. And I begin to coach them and give them tools on how to mature, how to develop, and how to begin to implement and demonstrate and become unconditional love, the kind of love that before it walks into punishment, it invokes mercy. You have to be full of spirit to be able to walk like that on this planet. And let me tell you, women are broken and men are broken. And the best, most potent medicine for us all to evolve and heal is love. So I do want to give you some tools. I also have a video on our YouTube channel about taking the 7-day love challenge. It's when you have to recite a passage from the Bible. That's one of the sacred texts that I find value in. I find value in many. That's one. There's a passage called 1 Corinthians 13. It's the love chapter. And I want you to take 7 days and recite that. Align with the vibration of it. I remember one of my Reiki sessions, I had my practitioner read it over me into my body. And that was one of the most powerful Reiki sessions I've had. That's one tool. Second tool is you need to go to thewombsauna.com/appointments and book a 1-hour phone consultation with me. My phone consultations are $35. We need to uproot some of this stuff. You need to understand, my loves, why you are moving the way you're moving. And I can promise you without a shadow of a doubt, it has nothing to do with the person you're with or the person you were with. And that is the biggest illusion, and that's why you're stuck, and that's why you continue to create the same type of experience in your love life. Because you're not recognizing that you've had the power all along, and you're continuing to create this experience because there's something you haven't mastered within it. So let me support you. Let me get you to the other side. Now, when you work with me, it is work because I got my own work, so I ain't going to do your work for you. But it's worth it. I have feedback from my clients. You can check out what women have to say about working with me on our testimonial tab on our website, thewombsauna.com/testimonials. I love what I do. I am merely a witness and a vessel of divine light. And so I bring in the light so you can see where the darkness still is and fill it with divine love. All right, so let me wrap this up because I love chit-chatting with y'all, but I just want to drop this nugget in your ear and activate something in you to take action today to move higher, to call yourself higher when it comes to matters of your heart. There is nothing more freeing than walking in unconditional love. And when you schedule your phone consultations with me, and you tell me that you heard this video, you want to work on your heart, I'm going to share with you my personal testimony of being able to walk in unconditional love and what it took for me to even understand this and apply it. All right, so can't wait to hear from you. If you are not in the United States, let's say you're across the seas, I still can do your consultation. We can do it through Skype or Google Hangouts, and the price is still the same, $35. So again, you can book that at thewombsauna.com/appointments. And you are also more than welcome to watch our video and take the 7-day love challenge. And I encourage you to take 7 days to really sit back and take a look at your principles around love and if you're walking in those principles. All right. Peace and blessings, everyone.